tears in your eyes. I feel so helpless inside. Oh love, there's no need to hide. Just let me love you when your heart is tired. Cold hands, red eyes, packed your bags at midnight. They've been there for weeks. You don't know what goodbye means. Just roll up a cigarette, just forget about this mess. I'm waiting on the sidelines, from the sidelines. I see those tears in your eyes, and I feel so helpless inside. Oh love, there's no need to hide. Just let me love you when your heart is tired. If your ghost pulls you apart, and it feels like you lost who you are, my love, there's no need to hide. Just let me love you when your heart is tired. Just let me love you. 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 Just let me love you when your heart is tired. You whisper, I'm alright, but I see through your white lies. But these walls don't talk, and if they could, they'd say, can't hide your secrets, you can't forget about this mess. I'm waiting on the sidelines, from the sidelines. I see those tears in your eyes, and I feel so helpless inside. Oh love, there's no need to hide. Just let me love you when your heart is tired. If your ghost pulls you apart, and it feels like you lost who you are, my love, there's no need to hide. Just let me love you when your heart is tired. Just let me love you. 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 Just let me love you when your heart is tired. My love, there's tears in your eyes. My love, so helpless inside. My love, there's no need to hide. Let me love you when your heart is tired. Swipe left, someone said something stupid. Swipe right, now I'm watching what you did. Power down, now I'm at a disadvantage, but I think that it's worth it. I put my headphones on, I play my favorite song. I go to sleep and try again. Mama used to try and tell me no man is an island, but I think I feel like drifting away. Mama used to say tomorrow never comes, so make the most, but I think I am done with today. Think I am done with today. Boss says, man, you gotta make an effort. Feel like all I do on earth is just say yes, sir. And when I tell people how they make me feel, they treat me like a leper. I put my headphones on, I play my favorite song. I go to sleep and try again, again, again. Mama used to try and tell me no man is an island, but I think I feel like drifting away. Mama used to say tomorrow never comes, so make the most, but I think I am done with today. Think I am done with today.
Hello everybody and welcome to the TGH Upper Weekly Skirmish. I am Rook and I'm joined by Zen as we are bringing you the matchup for today between Flamey and Deadeye's teams here in the semi-finals.
Hi, I'm Zen, and I don't really know either team, so I guess everything's up for grabs.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I mean, I'm really interested to see a couple of players. I think you mentioned you've seen Deadeye before. I mean, Benny F15, I've seen this lad around, and Flamey has been in a couple of good tournaments as well. I'm definitely excited to see how it goes. Yeah, we are
Um,
going on into the icebox here, and I mean, there's a couple of different picks we could really see here. There aren't there?
I'd say so, yeah. Icebox is a pretty versatile map. I'm expecting to see more Viper, Chamber, picks like that quite a lot.
Yeah, I think we've also got some really nice picks to go alongside that, right? Initiators are fantastic here. I think especially that Sova with the access to those darts, great post-plant situations, and I mean, who could really pass on a KO right now? I think he's super duper strong, especially with the changes to his fragment, which makes him so darn difficult to deal with. How do you feel about the Jet, right? Because you mentioned the Chamber. I mean, Jet's just a weaker Chamber right now. Is that true?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I'd say that in terms of defense, Chamber's got just as much as Jet does, but when it comes to entering in, distracting the enemy, getting people on, with the initiators, I think Jet is a pretty good pick.
Yeah, and speaking about those initiators, we've got that Rainer for Benny Air 15. Honestly, really glad to see this. I think this is super good here on Icebox because you were talking right about the long distances that we've got to deal with that make Viper so good and make Chamber so fantastic. She has a great way to shut down a lot of those sightlines, pretty much unconditionally with that layer, really denying those operators, those marshals potentially, or the tour de force from coming out from Chamber, where he can really be deadly with it. So manages to find the team openings and ways onto the site. That's a good thing to be able to see.
That's true. And of course, there's quite a lot of outplay potential, which would be extremely interesting to see.
Yeah, always love to see those pop-off moments, right? The fantastic one there. I mean, kind of the most important thing for me is kind of seeing how these guys match up with their different utility. The Sage, right? That's got some fantastic applications on the B side, doesn't it?
I'd say so. Sage is pretty good. It blocks off a huge point. It gives a lot of info, and to be honest, I think it's really easy to use to block off key points like kitchen.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic as well at kind of cutting off and allowing them to set up, get that spike down when they're over on the offense. But right now, the opposing side on the offense, and we will see whether Flamey and the gang can find those opening picks. Grab up high, looking for a chance here as the rest of the team is setting up to push on in, but Deadeye strikes first and actually strikes down more. Looking for a chance here, but Odok does trade on back, and now we're looking at where that attacking team is going. It looks like they're backing away as they're setting up for a little bit more.
Those 2 kills were incredible, and it really made them have to rethink their attack, even with the trade.
Looks like they're pushing on in towards mid. Look at that Chamber right now. He's looking for blood.
Let's see this. And a patience play.
Yeah.
So long.
God, he hits it.
Does he catch off Deadeye?
Yeah, it's going to play around with it. Flamey now on high doesn't have access to that weapon anymore, but finally catches Deadeye regardless, and now that Spike is going to be able to come on in. They're really looking for a chance to plant here, and the thing is about this that makes it so good is they've still got access to a Viper Spike for Warwick New here, which means they're going to have so much utility for this pistol round. Whereas the opposing side, I mean, they have a Viper Spike themselves, but that's not quite as useful as they start to make their move on and start to creep on through. Obviously, one side does have to be, the attacking side does have to be worried about flanks, but we can see that no such thing is coming.
Going up.
Low HP Chamber holding first contact, and he gets a pick.
Player standing. Toxin screen down.
Oh, but the Chamber gets caught through the wall. And, oh man, that first pistol round, I mean, honestly, it didn't look good for Flamey when things started off, right? They they tried to push on in. They got a frag, but they lost so much going on through. But it was that wraparound, that lurk play that was so fantastic that allowed them to kind of lead it on through. And it's good to see the captain of the team, right, in Flamey, actually popping off here. And a player that we kind of talked about, we had seen before, managing to shut down Deadeye, who was holding onto that site and had done so much damage prior. But now it's a push on in and into pistols here. They've got an advantage, but can this force-up work?
He deals a bit of damage, but his team is yet to rotate. They have a good hold of sight, and their post plan with the Viper is incredible.
Toxin screen down.
Man goes deep, but doesn't
One
find it.
enemy
Yet
remaining.
Flamey who finds two. They're just trying to push forward. They need to get aggressive here. They want that last kill.
And an ace from Flamey,
Fantastic.
really showing off the Bulldog.
Yeah, fantastic to see. I mean, look, people sleep on that weapon, right? It's still relatively strong. Sure, it's no Phantom. Sure, it's no Vandal. But it is the absolute undisputed king of those anti-ecos. I mean, it's fantastic. It does so much.
Absolutely
It doesn't
right.
have to worry about not one-shot headshots, essentially.
In the right situation, it is a deadly weapon.
This could be pretty scary too. I've been double donked by it. Certainly don't want to see that one happen as Deadeye setting up for some single donks of his own. As we see 4 players already starting to move. Couldn't quite shoot out. You can see the rest of that team.
Here.
Poor Flamey starting to move on in. The drone comes out. They're getting ready to set up and getting ready to push. Holding the angle, making sure there's a little bit of a chance. If they try and push on through, he can deny. But look at this flank. Keep an eye on this chamber right now. But he gets taken out. That's nothing for them. And now the push can start to come through in earnest. Deadeye waiting right here. Tries to get the spray, but denied by the Reyna. And this first rifle round is looking hella good for the attackers right now. Well, no, they do lose one in the end. But only one as of yet.
Still an incredible bonus. But too late to say anything for sure.
Almost cast a custom, you know.
That's what it
First
does.
time you're on Valorant, you've got the power. You have to be wary of it, buddy.
That's true, that's true.
Now already access to that tour de force as well on that attacking side. And you kind of talked about defensive chamber, right? He's disgusting. He's so hard to knock down, so hard to deal with. He can peek, he can be dynamic, which I actually think is a good thing. Look, I do think he needs nerfing, but he does open up the game a little bit more in a really interesting way. It means we don't have those kind of post-bomb metas completely. But that tour de force on the attack could still be very effective. So look at him to lock down a lot of these sightlines if he chooses to pull it out, but hasn't done so yet. Their team is really happy with their economy. They got the force, they got the, they beat out the rifle rounds, and they're absolutely rolling them. And now they're going to look for a chance to push on in again. Look at those 2 players pushing up mid. Sorry, with that player pushing up mid as the rest of them get into position. Sorry.
And a stack from A. Well read, honestly.
Poison's off.
Get the plant as well. They come all the way over from A in that. But look at Benny F15 lurking hard here. Beating a little bit, but his teammates seem to be doing fine without him, so it's not all too bad there. Deadeye, on the last remaining, does manage to pick up a rifle, does have potential firepower, takes the first head, looks for a little bit more. As they start to shift up their position, they know they've got some backup in their Viper. But that first point of contact is going to be over with that K. Let's see how that goes.
One enemy
A little bit of Overwatch,
remaining.
but they lose Alter, and now it's just up to Deadeye.
They take space so well. They take Snowman, and there's no way for the Viper to get anywhere to even help Deadeye even a bit.
Right now, 2 ultimates for the defending side now. Let's see if they want to invest them here. They've already got that operator for Deadeye, so they can be able to buy that one up. Maybe they use the tour de force here. Looks like what Bing Chilling's doing right now. Hasn't bought armor yet, so maybe you're going to shift things up. Maybe they'll play around with their ultimates in a round to come. But it looks that way. And 4 rifles, and very close to that null command here for KO, which can be really good for forcing.
Needs to bring out the chamber up.
dash has actually activated, but still gets caught. Flamey denies Deadeye. This is a big opportunity. They can push on in here. For a little bit more, Benny gets caught here, and now the rest of the attacking side, they're going to have to play a little bit more passive. They've got control. They can afford to do it, and they're up in numbers. But with that tour de force, you've got to be worried. You want to let him have to peek. You don't want to peek him here. But Ashy gets taken down as they try to step on forward. Alter does catch one, but only one as Flamey pulled apart the rest of their team. Oh, that's brutal to see. And Alter knows his players. They're circling around him. It's like shock. They try and get the knife, but to no effect.
It's unfortunate for Deadeye's team. Honestly, they can't hold a site, and their post plan with Viper is just so powerful and impactful.
It can be really hard to like lock it down sometimes, especially when your opponent's just out shooting you like we're seeing. It's tragic to see, but I think if they shift up a little bit, if they play a little bit more aggressive and kind of touch and go, I know sometimes on the defense that doesn't work quite as you want to. But with the way we've been seeing Deadeye play, I think he could get away with it. Now, this aggression we're seeing from him here is exactly what I was talking about. Moving up forward. Messed up jump just a tad there. Uses the jump to get up on high to accidentally spell, but oh, that knife! No, sorry, it wasn't even the knife, it was the null command here. Denies him access to that late storm and leaves him high and dry. And the rest of their team is being left out to dry right now as the sprays come on through and they just tear them apart.
Like a firing squad, go all at once, take off heads.
For real. Executioners on wheels. That seems to be the plan right now. So, looking at how things are going, what do you think could be an opportunity, potentially, for Deadeye's team to kind of bring this back? Do you think that the attacking side could work out better for them? Do you believe in them coming back in this half?
Honestly, I believe that if they want a shot at winning this, they need to come back in this half. They have 2 Sentinels, which are understandable. One is Chamber, but they need to bring at least some rounds if they have a chance.
He's the most duelist Sentinel I've ever seen, if I could say. And Deadeye
He is indeed.
lives up to his name, gets that first frag. Important to see here. If they could shut down Flamey, that's going to be really important because this man, he has been the center of everything. Bing Chilling gone. And now he will be perfectly fine himself. Backs on off, rotates on into this site. All up the Deadeye, but they're getting tagged through the bomb. Goes down to 1, but stays alive, unlike Penguin.
Got him. Spike planted.
1 for Deadeye, and I mean, Alter is not exactly high either. Dark goes out to the position. Deadeye shot through the wall. Shot past the final as well. They will have seen that the wall goes up and Alter starts to sneak away. Doesn't want to do with this. Does not want to have to peek onto these 3 players. I don't blame.
Morale is probably low, 6 rounds and it's completely steamrolled, but I still think they have a chance, or they have the potential to have a chance.
I do think this is what they call as the kids call it, a bit of a mental boom right now. I think they need a mental reset more than anything. I mean, look, it's a poke, so it's like it's not a scrim, but like, I don't think they need to necessarily time out. What I think they need to do is just get together, have a little bit of a sing-song, and kind of deal with problems like this, because you see it on your screen right now, just what the attack is doing. It's constantly Flamey, constantly up mid, just making plays, left, right, and center. My big question is, how do you shut him down? With 18 frags to his name, it's got to be a flash, right? But you look over at that team, and what is that? There's no way to make individual plays on this squad, unlike Flamey's side, where they've got access to the flash points and stuff like that, to extra utility coming out from the Lear, and also from the KO, who can kind of set up for the rest of their team. Viper's pick goes in here, and maybe finally they won't push on towards the A site, but honestly, I think Flamey's just chomping at the bit to get some frags. He doesn't care where they're from.
I agree, he is popping off, and he does have the potential to get these frags. Oh, I spoke too soon, I guess.
Caster's cast is instigated by Ritual there, buddy. And Benny F15 starts to move on up, wants to be the spearhead for their team now that their captain is no longer sailing with them. Wrestling gets one. Just a nice little peek onto Deadeye there. Takes down inside, and even with a backup from Brab, takes down Ashy as well. Chilling attempts to land the shot, does get it. So they'll be able to have something on their plate, but can they actually turn it into a fully fledged round? No way, Jose here, as Benny F15, in spite of Flamey going down, still picks up the round for their team.
Even without Flamey in that scenario, they were still able to hold site, gain space, and pick off anybody else that was straggling from the other side.
It's so hard to see, man. I mean, they finally looked like they might have had a chance. They got the Viper's pit down. They got a frag on the Flamey. Everything was looking peachy. Little did they know, it was like James and the Giant Peach. There was a maggot, a cricket. I don't know what else was living in there. Things were not looking good for them. As that Viper's pit fell down around them and like a house of cards, the rest of the team fell just as quickly. As now it's been split again. Given the keys to the city there as he takes down Big Chilling and will be able to push onto that B-side for the team with the Viper's wall going on in. They've got a lot of space control here. The Sheriff shot strikes, but look at that
What a
flick!
shot.
World.
It's really turned up.
One enemy remaining.
Apologies about the sound. I had to just quickly close my window, and I may realize I may have made more sound than I thought, but right now Alta's making more domes than he thought, but still not enough, and 9-0. I think, honestly, it may be a 12-0 half, and I hate to say that, right? We've been seeing great individual plays from Deadeye and from Alta on occasion, but it's just not been enough.
Last round, the Reyna showed out how much solo play potential they had. 2 picks by themselves, and it was huge. It basically cleared out all of B-site for them.
Yeah, and when you can entrust multiple players to just, you know, go out frag with no backup, that's when things really start to look peaky for the opposing team. And they don't have ways to deal with it. As we said before, they've got to play a really tight macro plan with the utility that they're using. And Chilling does shoot it out. So this could be a chance. He can teleport away if things get a little bit too hot under the collar. They can't even get the shot. Benny F15 takes his head clean off, and that B site is almost wide open. Penguin's there to try and assist, but Odog gives him a taste of his own medicine.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
It was a good flash. It was a nice attempt to set up there. Trade out negative in the end, but Ashy is the only one left. They still had the numbers advantage regardless, and the spray attempts to go through double digits now for Flamey and his squad. You can see this replay here. He tries to go for it desperately. He was prepped for everything, but sometimes it's not the brain diff, it's the aim diff.
Well said, and after they plant, they always take the back space. Snowman, they go up kitchen. Whatever they can do to prevent the enemies from gathering together.
Yeah, making sure that there isn't a chance for a concerted effort to really push on through. That is really true, because right now, I mean, look, they've been playing decently individually, but they've really never come together as a team. Even when they're playing on the same site, it feels like every single player from Deadeye's squad is just peeking one by one. And that works fine if you're, you know, goated with the sauce, like Flamey or Benny, but they're not. And it'll take more than that to do with anything. And you take down one, and there's another one right around the corner. Flamey doesn't spot it. Might get taken down here. It's a charge, but he still wins the duel. And I mean, you don't even call that a duel. He just completely riposted, parried, and well, twisted his own card there. Tries to get the shot. Deadeye pushed out the whiffs on the shot. 2 versus 3. This might be a chance for Deadeye and the squad to pick up around here finally. Tries to go for the no!
The timing.
That's so sad.
The timing there.
Now the timing on this player mid. Will Bing Chilling catch Brab as he tries to cross turns away as the dart comes in, and oh my lord. Oh, timing hurts, man. That's all I can tell.
And timing is hurting this team quite a bit as they plant A.
Spike planted.
Penguin even gets spotted. What more could you ask for? Brab is waiting on the other side of this, and I mean, you knew he was going to be there, Brab. Sorry, Penguin, yes, but unfortunately, it just ain't happening. Yeah, you can see this play here. Absolutely insane. Gets that shot there, actually misses out, and he actually sees the head of this Sage, but he doesn't need to know where his opponent is coming from until the shots start flying. Impressive stuff from Flamey, and I mean, it would be no surprise to see him in the finals this week. One hell of a guy, and it's good to see him delivering.
As well as Flamey is doing, I'd like to say the rest of his team are giving him the correct support, even the rounds where he doesn't get a pick.
Yeah, look, when Odok has 7 assists here in 11 rounds, like, it shows you kind of just how much he's been able to do. I mean, look, it's not everything, it's not a be-all, end-all. Like, taking out Flamey isn't the be-all, end-all, but it's certainly impressive to see Binchilling really wants that shot onto Benny, but it doesn't come, and the rest of the team can step up, can deliver, and we're seeing that right now. A-site in their hands, and 3 players. They are attempting, they are scattering, they are looking for a chance to get an opening, but they need to find that opening frag, and they do no such thing. Penguin falls.
Cutting their vision. One enemy remaining.
An 0-12 half, just like you said.
Toxins going up.
Yep. Honestly, I don't think that was a particularly poignant analysis point. I think anybody could have honestly figured it out from the way that's been going. As well as we've seen some of the stuff. Deadeye and the gang, they're just not on point right now. They're not on the same page, and it's really hurting them. This pistol could be their only chance to actually pick up a round. I hope they can pick up.
If their team play steps up, then I think we might see something interesting.
But it's an if.
It is an if. And a very
Well, it's
big
not
if
even
at
a when.
0-12.
I mean, yeah, the other thing is, right, is it can't be a when. It can't physically be a when. It's now or it's never. This is the last round, the last chance they have. Benny takes that first frag, and already we're seeing that team play be more focused on the gunplay.
Finished.
Too sure.
No chance here. Benny. Gonna wait, Flamey looking for its chance to strike. Doesn't have any of that signature stuff instead.
One enemy remaining.
He uses movement, gets a headshot onto Bing Chilling regardless. They're looking to clean this up.
And that's
Teleport
it.
gets caught, and as you
Defenders
say,
win.
that is that 13-0 here. And I mean, Flamey was delivering, is all I can say. He was spitting hot fire.
He was indeed.
Yeah, you can see the scores on the doors there. Only 109 rating for Flamey, but 439 average combat score. And popping up those first bloods, we saw Benny F15 delivering as well as we come on back to us on the cams. You know, it's a little bit sad to say because I thought Deadeye was going to be able to pump out more. You were mentioning he's a strong player. You've seen him around before. But, I mean, Flamey and Benny, they went to town. And the rest of the team seemed well coordinated around them.
I think they just played spectacularly. Flamey in specific, getting those picks, 3 first bloods, Benny 15, F15, 3 first bloods. They're huge at the start of any round, and especially when they're winning those rounds, then it's mental, it's crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to Alter, Deadeye, and Bing Chilling, who did actually manage to find some first bloods. In fact, picked up 6 of them. They picked up about half of the first bloods on their team in total. Sorry, of the game in total. Problem wasn't they couldn't convert that to wins. Even when they got the kills onto one of those key players in Flamey or Benny, Brab and Odok, they're nothing to sniff at. And, you know, sure, Warwick only had 5 frags, but I would like to point out they did not die in that game at all. Not once.
In every post-plant situation, you could see him just sitting at the back, molly out, orbs, ready to stop any pushes, but his team didn't let any pushes go through.
Yeah, it's good to see. Great heads-up play from that Viper player. We are, however, going to go to a short break as we prep for those grand finals, guys, as that was quite a quick one. But certainly don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with more Goose House Upper Weekly Skirmish right after this break.
fuck you, will you? Oh, let me show you how. Find me another. You can't break me down. Under the covers. Borrow my touch just to break it. You thought that I would need it back, but you didn't know that I faked it. No tears, no heart attack. Leave it all behind. Love me a new one. I won't waste my time. Fuck you, will you? Oh, let me show you how. Find me another. You can't break me down. Under the covers. Borrow my touch just to break it. You thought that I would need it back, but you didn't know that I faked it. No tears, no heart attack.
We had a barbecue in Saint-Tropez in May with some friends drinking booze, getting all loose. We drove the cars to the beach on the outside of the street, sat around a bonfire, eating marshmallows all night. We were young at the time, I know it, but you were so damn fine, couldn't get you on my mind. We were young at the time, I know it, but I wanted something more than you. Cause you wanna be free for the summer, free for the summer, free for the sun. You wanna be free for the summer, free for the summer, free for the summer. Free for the summer. Free for the summer. We met again later that summer at the beach in Saint-Tropez. I was with my friends, you were by yourself. You came to hang out with me when the summer reaches end. Then I worth your attention, but I had enough playing this game with yours. We were young at the time, I know it, but you were so damn fine, couldn't get you on my mind. We were young at the time, I know it, but I wanted something more than you. Cause you wanna be free for the summer, free for the summer, free for the sun. You wanna be free for the summer, free for the summer, free for the summer. Free for the summer. Free for the summer. Seek paradise, won't change your mind. Can't shake the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. I want it all, just for the night. I live it out like I'll never die. I lose my head in the starry skies. Can't chain me down, I feel so alive. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking, hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. 'Cause the time keeps turning, feels just like it speeds up. It's what I waited for. Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind. Can't shake the light. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. Just wanna feel the stars surround. The atmosphere never to come down. I'll stand alone, whether right or wrong. It takes me home, right where I belong. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light. Turn up the light. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking, hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. This is what I waited for. 'Cause the clock keeps ticking, hard for me to keep up. I can't take it no more. 'Cause the time keeps turning, feels just like it speeds up. It's what I waited for.
I'm feeling lovesick, but I kinda like it, feels like a trip. Got my temperature rising over you. I think you need a doctor, so do you. And I'm feeling you a lot 'cause of the way you say you don't want me to go. Put on a movie, then hold me close. You are my LSD, so I don't need
everybody, and welcome to the TGH Upper Weekly Skirmish. I'm Rook, and I'm joined by Zen, as we are bringing you the grand finals here. After a bit of a sprinter with a 13-0 on Icebox, we're heading back to Icebox here for a matchup between Maxi and Flamey's team, and I don't know, hot off the press, it was a pretty quick game for Maxi's squad as well. I didn't quite get the score for that one, but I'm pretty excited for this one. How about you, Zen?
I think another Icebox pick would be huge, and I'm really excited to see what can happen here.
Yeah, it's always a fun map. We kind of highlighted those long angles, those long sight lines, and quite what was going to be able to happen. We saw in the previous game, right, Zen, we saw Flamey go to town. He was walking up mid all the time. He was providing so much space for for his team against the opposing side. Do you think we're going to see that again?
I'll be honest, playstyles can change quite easily. We don't even know if he'll pick Chamber this time, and I'd say Chamber is really good for being able to go in, get info, get a pick, and TP out.
Yeah, he is fantastic at getting out of those situations. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we'll probably see a similar composition still from that squad, from Flamey and his team. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's at least my reasoning. So we'll probably get that Reyna on back for Benny F15 as well, which I'm glad to see, but we had nothing but praise for the rest of that squad. Are there any players on Maxi's squad that you recognise, Sen?
Not a single one. That's why
Okay.
I'm ready to see what they can do, what can they present.
Yeah. I mean, people say the devil you know, but sometimes the devil you don't can certainly be scarier as we get on into pick and... Well, I was about to say pick and ban, but we don't have bans yet, at the very least. It will be interesting to see if those come on in later, but we already get those lock-ins, and it looks like, well, surprise, surprise, we're going to see probably Chamber and probably Viper on both sides at the very least.
And shaping up to be the same team comp. Nope.
Yeah, pretty much the same. And up against very similar squad right on back, right? We're seeing that Jet get locked in again. And we're seeing a Sage get locked in again. But I think the one thing that I really like about Maxi's squad this time is that KO. We talked about that in the previous game. What does KO really bring that's fantastic here on this map and really rounds out the team comp?
As you see from the last game, he had, if you weren't watching the stream, a lot of assists and a lot of util. Stopped a lot of Deadeye's plays, concerning his dash, his ult.
Yeah, was really able to bring the pain because we saw that that Bladestorm come out a couple of times and he was looking to make something aggressive, looking to find them an opening, and I think he did at least once find a frag with it, but I can still remember that time when Odok kind of shut it down with the null command, and he kind of just sat there up on rafters and went, oh, okay. And then there are 4 people looking at him and he can't have his pop-off Jet moment, which is sad to see for any Jet. I feel so sad for them every time they're left with that wings clipped.
The classic against a firing squad of Vandals. Nothing much you can do.
No, that certainly isn't. But we're getting on into the match right now, and you can see that we're looking in the same comp on, at the very least, Flamey's side. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do again. He was popping off some good opening frags, but mostly just kind of finding those fantastic flanks. Certainly something to keep an eye on there, especially with the Reyna of Benny F15 making those plays on their own, being very dynamic in their approach to the game. So, looking on forward, I'm really intrigued to see just how we're going to have Ben CL kind of play on this scale, because I think that's the one big thing for me. As the only initiator on the squad, I think he's going to be really important.
I think he has a lot of potential to be really important, and honestly, if his team can play with his flashes, play with his util, his shutdowns, it will be really good for them in general.
Flamey already up to those, back up to his old tricks again. Starts to play on through, some shots coming on in. Doesn't quite manage to land it as they teleport away, both of them. Going for exactly the same thing here as a push comes in towards A, but Brab is going to lead the charge for that one. 3 players, but none of them actually on the site right now. They're going to start to make a move on in here. They hear the grapples, but Maxi is just holding the angle, waiting for the rest of the team to coalesce around this. Then maybe going for a push on in. As the dash shot can back out if they need to. 45, but drops down in here. Gets a little bit of heal. They buy a little bit of time, but that point goes in while they waste away. Shots don't quite manage to land. Benny finds that first frag and still tapping on through. Finds yet another. Seems to get aggressive here. Benny wants to try and deal with the problem, but it's just straight lead for him. No abilities, no nothing. Doesn't need to mess around as Benny F15 kicks it off with a 4.
And that 4K was huge. It shut down any pushes, and unlike last game, they were grouped together. They did make a collective push, but they were shut down.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty good to see that he's actually able to deliver in that way. I was a little bit worried that maybe this was kind of against a team that wasn't quite coordinated. He wouldn't. He was able to find a lot of frags, and maybe he wouldn't be if they were playing well together. But the Reyna, she is a queen of this pistol round, and we see just why right there.
Enemy suppressed.
Dash available for Man. He managed to make it out, but the man goes in. But those rifles will think to find the first frags and no shots at all, unfortunately, to take anyone down. Some low health players, to be certain, but the plant's still going to come on in, and there's still nothing you can do about it. Setting up a wall of your own, Antelope showing that they're behind, and players already
Last
swarming,
player standing.
expecting those players to be coming from behind. But with step up down, they know there's just one. The flip from Pantelope is there, and that's now access to a Bulldog. And they find anything more, tries to get the shot, but Odok denies. A quick 2-0 for Flamey and their squad.
And as you can see, all 5 kills actually came from the Bulldog, which is what we were talking about before, about how it's an underrated weapon, and in the right hands, in the right situation, it can be lethal to the opposing team.
Yeah, I think especially right on longer ranged maps, the Bulldog comes more into its own. The Spectre at close ranges is a terrifying blender of a weapon, but the Bulldog, it's a more civilized weapon for a more civilized time, and playing at these longer ranges, you've got to kind of be able to utilize that better, and it means that you're less likely to lose these rounds into some kind of close range shenanigans, you know, the classic 2-taps you or something, or right clicks you for some cheeky damage. So I like the fact that they were all thinking equipment. It's worked quite well for them, at least so far. Syndrome goes in to try and find some info on that Leah to maybe make some first contact, but unfortunately no aliens found, just enemy gamers.
Spike down
Max is
A.
like,
Good pick, as you say, and even finds a second, doubles it up. And now with that dash as well, looking for a little bit more as Pantelope even shuts down Flamey in mid. And this time the flank's not quite working out. They've wisened up to his tricks already, as it's 2 versus 5. And they're back to the drawing board as they play a little bit slow.
they've adapted, I'd say, much faster than the last team we've seen
One
against
enemy
Flamey's
remaining.
team.
That's
And they're
certain
not-
right now. You can see Step Up is trying to just get something here. They're just like denying Brad from doing anything.
I think it's too late to say anything now. You don't know. Maybe a 1v5 play, but might also be a save.
I'd like to say I believe, but I don't.
30 seconds left.
Unfortunately, here, like Brad has been playing well, certainly, but he's not been the standout player's team. But that's because he's been a role player. So, you know what? I expect him to try and go for something here. If he can get some damage, it'd be nice. But obviously, this is not a round they really wanted to lose. This is their rifle round. But the shots are coming through thick and fast. That's a chance
10
now,
seconds
1
left.
versus 3. And I said I didn't believe, but you know, just maybe somewhere in my heart, a childish ideal of a round could come out here from a Brad who doesn't. Oh no, does find it. 15 HP though. Does reload.
And it-
Finally gets caught. That's so sad to see, man.
I think that was still a pretty big play. 3 kills, plant down. That's a big play, considering their team is now a bit odd on the eco.
Yeah, I mean the eco kind of stings. Honestly. Oh no, sorry, I misread misread how things are going. They don't have the best eco because they bought up bulldogs and such, but they don't have bad eco for certain. The one thing I'm kind of looking towards is the fact that we've seen yet again that this team does not have to rely on the likes of Flamey and Benny for F15 to find these frags, right? These players can step up, and I think that makes them even scarier as we go on later into these rounds. So an early advantage to them in terms of rounds, but obviously scales are starting to shift now that the rifles are back in hand.
I'd say the only thing scarier than a player that can clutch is 5 players that can clutch.
Grenade out.
Something a good team, all certain. But 5 players, currently just sitting around, having a laugh.
The approach is much more different than what they did last game. Normally they just push in, Flamey leading the way. Now they're playing a slower game.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a different game to what we saw last time, where it was dominant and Flamey was allowed to do whatever he wanted, and Benny F15 was like, yeah, time to get some for my highlight reel gamers. But this time he's going to have to play more slowly. They are baiting on this A side. You can see it pretty thoroughly. Benny F15 going down, however. The recon dart is going to sell it even more, but the push comes on into the B side. Spike goes down. I don't think they heard it, but they will hear that. I think he's out of earshot, but they'll have figured it out there. The fact that partner's coming down, but catches them as they drop. BenCL goes low. Odok baits for their teammate. Flamey is waiting just around the corner. BenCL is actually wary of it, and they lose Brab on the backside here. BenCL was trying to find strike, heals up, checks the corner. No, doesn't check it properly. They lose out, and Odok even trades 1-for-1 here, but Flamey gets caught by Step Up. So now it's 3 versus 1. It's all up to Warwick. Can they clutch out? We said that the other players on this squad can deliver. The knives don't quite land. It's a storm that unfortunately is nothing but a bluster. There's a spray, almost converts into the next, but Mark does not quite go down, and it's 2-2 now for Maxi's squad.
38 HP and almost an incredible clutch.
Yeah, you can see it on the replay here, right? Gets that first frag as they come down from the sky and almost they fly high, but brought back down to reality with that final spray not quite going the way they wanted.
Almost 2 clutches, and it's probably shown the other team how much they can really do.
The important thing is, while they've written out the letter, they haven't dotted their I's or crossed their T's. They haven't converted it into a round yet. So while it's scary, it doesn't quite as scary as it could be, because it wasn't actually clutching around. It wasn't actually changing around. It wasn't actually changing around like Flamey does right there with that tour de force and sets the pace. And the Ultimate comes in, catches Step Up as they try to skedaddle. And now 4 players on side 1 holding back. Maxi's right here, has to drop down.
Spike
Not
planted.
going to be left alone to play with the rest of the team, and instead starting to push on in. They lose Mark, and here the dismiss, it comes away. Maxi's position now, no, drops it on them. It all goes crazy, but comes up Brad, comes up Benny 15, and 3-2. But 2 ultimates invested to really convert that round. They really had to hard force that.
I think in that round, that KO was paramount to the win. Maxi couldn't do anything even on high because he doesn't have his dash, any escape util. To just drop down, accept his fate, maybe get a pick or 2.
Yeah, it was actually 3 in the end. Sorry, I miscounted that with the null command coming in. At least do kick things off. I do like, however, that we're seeing this squad use it. I'm so glad that Flamey and their team are going, okay, this is a round where we need to invest ultimates to actually win something, rather than just sitting and not using it. We see that so much, and it's one of my pet peeves, especially here in some of these weekly skirmishes, that people aren't using ultimates. You gotta use them, or you gotta lose them. You gotta convert them into rounds where you can. Even if it's 3-1, you know what? I'll take it.
Any round is a good round.
A W is a W. I believe Sun Tzu says that. Unfortunately, there's no W for them, but Flamesy just about doesn't get caught. I thought they were going to get caught by Pantalope here. There's a lot of commotion
And
going
he
on the other
charged.
side,
Spike planted.
but he does go down in the end. The spike goes down regardless. Mark on you has an eye out for the rest of these players. Just up close and personal, expecting them to be on the other side, but look at this Viper dancing with death right now. Does not know exactly where Mark is. Mark drops down. That's going to hurt so much. He's going to point blank on Warwick. With that knife going on in. Drops on in. I think that's a no-scope through the box. That's brutal from Mark here as the Nocturne starts to go on in. Positions up right now. A little bit of cover from the Viper as they're looking for a chance here. Tries to land the shot, but Pantalope denies. 3-3. These guys are keeping it even.
I can't make this easier.
That drop down no scope was such a clutch for that play. Takes down the Viper row, and then just leaves KO. Low HP, nothing to do.
That's why sometimes, right, that those 2 players who are kind of selling the flank is fantastic. Because the first one goes out, dies maybe, yeah, sure. But the second one is fantastic because they can sometimes pick up those kills. Obviously, it's not a confirmed thing, but when it works, it works. And honestly, the fact that Flamey was on off walkabout and didn't even convert into anything is such a boon for this squad. Mark on you. Looking to try and deny his opposite number here. Flamey's been going for a lot of cheeky stuff. You can hear the util going down. Mark knows where he's been pushing. That's easy for... He didn't win. Flamey took him down, and again, it's the aim diff that comes through here. Delivering them a chance to open this round right up. Because of the teleport, they can res it in a safe position. And we're back to even.
Flash.
Their play is slower. Even with the pick, it's been rezzed. And Flamey goes down.
In best and ultimate, but it's these guns that are really delivering a frags. Mark finally steps up to plate, takes down that KO. Without that, it makes it a little hard to push. 2 players spotted, and now you can see them already going, okay, we need to get out of here. We cannot be in this position. Then CL already sets up that fragment, starting to pick up on now. The team starts to move on in. You can see it. Then CL gets that first frag. They try and jump on here, but Benny F15 is denied. I'm sorry, Warwick, you can't pick up this one. 4 players still left alive. And from a thrifty into a solid round, they are bouncing right back. Maxi and the squad, they are looking fantastic.
Dejo making the numbers even, and especially that KO, that knife, spotted 2, and that shift up didn't work at all. This is intense, really close.
It is. And I think the important thing about that is the fact that they're actually reading a lot of the ways that Flamey is playing. He was getting away with a lot of... I think disrespectful is a word that doesn't really do it justice, but like very aggressive and kind of not... I mean, okay, you know what I'm going to say. Disrespectful plays by going for such aggressive stuff, right? But when you've got that aim, you can afford to be a little bit... to get away with a lot like that. But when you're not that far ahead, when you're not that much better than Maxi, you can't step up like that. Like, you can't get away with things like that. But the backup from the rest of the team does mean they're only 1 player down, but it's still 1 player down. They get that spike in, they even get picked up, they don't even get it down. Then there was one Brab, the sliver of health, the no command coming, sorry, with the fragment coming on in, denying them, pushing them forward. Try and find that, but gives his position away, that Bulldog. He has so many shots in so little time. 5 rounds on the board now for Maxi and the team, but they lost a lot of econ there, and from a couple of these frags. I mean, this one to kick things off from Maxi was gorgeous, but unfortunately, next couple of round things don't quite go their way, and with so little econ available to them, they've got to be a little bit more careful. At least I think so.
I'm quite liking the shotgun out of Maxi here, because honestly, a rat play may be the best play in this scenario.
Want yourself a little bit of rat. Maybe this time they'll get that cheese going. Viper's Pit coming on through. Maybe that's why they opted to go for the judge. It's even better in this situation. Playing 2 on that Viper's Pit. And we've seen from history that Flamey and Benny, they love to push this stuff. They love pushing into Viper's Pit. Seems to be like a red rag to a ball here as they're just going for it. Fury comes out, they're trying to pick them out. Actually tags up some of their own teammates, but doesn't hit a single of their opponents. And in fact, Maxi finds that first name and they see the judge and they're like, oh no, I am terrified right now. Do you want to mess around with that? So they take out a player on the outside. Maxi swaps on over to that Guardian and hunts for a little bit more as the rest of this attacking side starts to slink away.
I'd say they have no many things to do right now. Oh.
Teleport's ready.
That's no flashes now. That's no ways to entry. It's got a player like Mark on you covering some of those angles, especially with the ability to kind of teleport away and deny any chance of refrag. It's certainly scary to think about. As they start stepping up, you can see the recon darts come on in. You can hear that the orb is getting taken. Mark knows exactly what's coming, but is still expecting a mid push here, which he's right for. They are coming for it, but it's going to have to be these plays at long. Brab delivers and opens them, gives them a juncture.
No charges.
Yeah,
Suppress it.
goes in.
Spike planted.
Suppressed.
They just stick it. They don't want to mess around. They know he's not that close if the knife is only there. Ben CL is going to have to find some names right now. You can already see them starting to push on through the Viper's Pit. The flash goes a little wide because he's too panicked. And now that utility starts to look less and less. And Brab stepping up to the plate. A player we highlighted again can deliver for this squad. The shotgun,
He's blind.
Flashes, the everything. Ben CL has to push into a veritable treasure trove of traps, of angles, and of players waiting to take him down.
Flashes are a bit out of order. Putting a stop to his push.
Yeah. The fact that both of his flashes got denied there with utility to kind of force him out of his position was fantastic to see from Brab and Flaming the gang. So I'm really glad to see that they can kind of play these post plants, because they looked a little shaky at times in the previous map. Like, as shaky as you can for a 13-0, but they looked like there were junctures where they could have lost.
Then again, our Viper, where it did end up with 0 deaths, and played those post plants every single round. That he good.
Yeah, absolutely. They still managed to deliver in those situations, but the fact that it got to those situations in a 13-0 shows that there were some weaknesses, and I'm glad that they're not entirely as much as I thought. Unfortunately, Flamey is feeling like a bit of a weakness right now for this team, right? He was a highlight in the previous map, but so far, he's just been a highlight reel.
For sure, and we've seen a lot of these. The team gets a pick on A, and they have to shuffle back to wherever, going through mid, going through B.
Johnson. Benny's got to be the one to lead it. But no, it's Brab. Certainly not someone who's playing right now, but that spray to the smoke is good from Benny here. The Viper's pick goes in, the North Command dies, but the Viper's bite denies them from going for the plant just yet, at least in the position they want to go for it. There's a lot more utility invested. You can hear the Blade Storm coming on through, looking for a chance as Cantaloupe moves on in, doesn't deny the plant. Importantly here, that's so brutal to see. Brab just delivering left, right, and center. Cantaloupe has to get
Last
in,
player
stuck through.
standing.
The K's actually hitting real hard. Look at their health, look how low it is. Cantaloupe catches them as they slip on in and is now in the back of sight. That Viper's pit has gone down, but honestly, that might be to Pantaloupe's negative.
Enemy
Finds the
remaining.
headshots, 1 versus 1. Can they take down Benny F15, a player who's been popping and popping and popping? Will this be their chance to stop? Antelope opens up the orb, looks for a chance to maybe deny some of that vision. Benny F15 slips out to the right here. Has actually managed to go undetected. That plant, Pantelope does not have a lot of time, has to try and stick it here, go for something, does not expect him to be waiting on the wings, and Benny F15 claims his rightful frag. And just barely picks up the man for their team.
In this game, we can see Brad being incredibly impactful, getting a lot of info kills, a lot of entries, and that cross from Benny 15 was good, like really good. Cross into a smoke, gives him no info, and there's nothing you can do there.
Certainly isn't. I'm always interested as well. Again, we were talking about how much we were highlighting the initiators and the controllers for Flamey and Betty F15 squad, but we're kind of seeing right now, Brab and the rest of that the team really are the secret sauce. They're working well together. So Brab gets a little bit of that assist. He can pop off too. Then Command comes on in. They're looking for a charge. They know there's a couple of players on site, but can they deal with it? They take him down in short order. Benny F15 knows exactly where Mark is, so communicating that to the squad. They're able to get that spike down relative to ease. The Leah maybe gains some more control, but they're able to deny it. Mark has to push away from this one. He's taking a little bit of damage. Tries to catch it, gets the spray, and actually takes down Brab there, surprisingly. But look at that with the no command. Sorry, the fragment. I'm just saying wrong names all over the place today. Gets some damage and denies that push for now, but only for now. As he drops, he drops. And well, Pantelope is yet again 1 versus 4. But this time, doesn't quite make it towards the end.
It's
round before the
interesting.
switch.
With the Flames team, it's either they get all 5 with no one dying, or they just lose that round.
Live together, die together. I mean, I respect the hustle. You know, that's a good team.
That's the
If
loyalty
someone's
right there.
dying, we're all dying. An interesting strategy, though, with how Flamey's been choosing his moves on the map, is the polite way of saying that.
Now he can show us his attack side.
Yeah, he's got one more. His defense, hopefully, a little bit more
Oh,
sweet
right.
and clean. Grab is really close to that one as well. Could be there. Flamey gets that first frag for the team. This time, not going down by the skin of his teeth. And let's see if they can take that. Use it to make a push step up. A fantastic position to deny if they pushed onto the A side, but it will be no dice. So shift gears, head on over towards that B side instead. It's all up to the Viper, but Pantelope cannot hold for long, and this time no clutch, no chance, no opportunity for them. There's 2 players still on this A side. They really are playing around with it. They are selling this so darn hard. Ben TL does actually get a frag, takes down Dodoc, but look at the shots coming through, goes so low with Flamey down, kind of worried, and actually the rotate's coming on in. They were so worried about where they'd have control that they decided to shift on over, even though this was supposed to be a hard sell. But now that it's not a hard sell, things are looking far more dire. Hunter Fury will flip back on you, and unfortunately he gets taken down. They finally managed to finish it out, and I didn't think they were going to be able to quite close that how they wanted to, but good coordination allows them to go 7-5.
Nice sportsmanship from both teams. A good half, chat.
Always nice to see. I mean, we
It
didn't
is.
really get much of a good half in the previous one because, let's be real, it really wasn't a good half. It was 12-0. It was kind of a wash. And with the 13-0, it was a pretty short game. But this one is looking to be quite a lot longer, which I'm glad to see. I'm glad we didn't just kind of speed one through it, you know.
There's a lot of back and forth, so which team do you think holds the most momentum right now?
I mean, naturally, the team who won the last 4 rounds have the most momentum, right? Flamey has started to find a little bit more success. Brab has really been popping. Honestly, in that kind of situation, they do drop off. No access to their signature weapon, at least for now. You can see them starting to make their move on forward. Need to use those flashes instead, using that dash to gain control of position on the map. Then he tries to hit the shots, the rest of them start to step up. Flamey from on high, wants to hit it, does get one, gets 2! That's so darn big for them. Because now they're 2 players ahead, that wall is starting to get tapped out, and obviously the wall is really strong on the pistol round. But if it doesn't work, oh my god, that's so brutally, well, it demonstrates just how far behind your team really, really is. NCL has to back off. I think they might make a good call in trying to rotate here, but they might get caught on the rotate. They might be red on that. You can already see 2 players starting to hold buttocks over towards that B side.
Flamey really showing up. 2 kills with his util, even though he was shut down at first.
Good shot.
Spike
Here
planted.
brings it closer to even. Well, 2 even. Importantly here, Mark will do just that though. Taps on it. Benny. They know he's fake. They've been around the block. They know what's happening. They suspect that. Flash goes wide. They're ready for it. They're
One
playing
enemy
for it.
remaining.
There goes Shot, and there goes Mark. They know the KO is still around. They know he's still hanging for it. Flash goes in, but he's dealt with in short order. Benny F15 brings support to their teammates. First round again. Benny F15, he's a lucky charm on this runner for these pistols. I don't think they've lost one yet.
I think that Viper Orb was critical in that. It prevented them from jumping on top of the box. It gave them a kind of a one-way, and honestly, the KO had nowhere to go.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw those Viper Orbs as well on the kind of deny of the push onto A. Just how strong they can be, that is such a key agent for this map, regardless of which side it's on. But now on that attacking side, right? Talking about post-plants, just how scary they can be. With a Sage Wall, that's what this squad is looking to do, but right now, they're unfortunately struggling to quite make it where they want to, especially with all the utility that they want to. So, things could look a little dicey here as you see those factors start to tear through. The Bulldogs as well, in hand for players like Brad, players like Odot, players
down, B.
like the rest of
One
this squad,
enemy
as they just
remaining.
shoot them down, shoot them out, and then Maxi versus the world, not even that for very long.
Bulldog really showing his presence. This time Spectre making a couple of kills via Warwick, and I think it's just, I don't know, just a giveaway round. There's nothing much you can do there.
Yeah.
They've rushed it.
They had pistols. They were well aware they were going to lose that round. 9-5 is comebackable, you know?
It is, of course it's winnable. And as long as they have a strong mentor, they can come back from it.
It just takes a good string of attacking side rounds. Once you get that momentum going, once you're already shut down that economy, that's where things can really come under this. Flamey, only with the signature weapon. So you're looking towards this B side yet again. Wall from Warwick to try and deny this push, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, as even if you're compartmentalizing that position, I don't think it really matters.
You can see they're all grouped. One area, one push.
You'll be able to crack that wall pretty easily. Will they be able to get the shots? No. Right back behind that. The dart though
Oh
from
my.
Rab.
Down, B.
That's so brutal to see. It looked like they were going to get it, but last second, last moment, Rab denies. And again, this guy has been on fire so far. Here on Flamey's squad, ironically. 4 versus 3 they have got. This situation is not even a post point. BenCL still desperately trying to get that one down. The start's going to be big. It's going to give so much over. Pantlock gets a good shot. Recon Bolt spots out so many, and that's easy. Sprays through the wall. And now you can see the Chamber looking desperately for a way out. Unfortunately, he's only handed to him by the end of the round.
I think Brab's util there, especially the shock darts, denying the plant, that was incredible, and it put them all in a really awkward position where they'd usually be able to play off it, but now they're just stuck in the open with no plant.
They unfortunately counted their chickens before they hatched. Their positions were all set up to play that post-spawn situation, and unfortunately, post-spawn situation never came.
Scanning ahead.
Ultimate available for Warwick, so could shut down one of those sites if needs to be. You can see them alone on the A side. The rest of the team starts to just surround on the A side, already going for the flank. You can see that Odok is there. Trying to find that shot. Maxi has to dash away from that one. Recon Bolt attached. That really could have been bad. It really could have been unhealthy for them, but shot day keeps Odok away, and it's not all bad for now. They swap over that rifle. The knives start to come on out. Heal comes through. No res available as they're rotating towards that B site very, very preemptively here, expecting that push. Brab wants to try and catch a player as they start to move on through. Actually, they're playing so slow, man. So patient. It's going to be Benny, I think, who's going to be that really important player, denying that plant away. It's going to be so key, but look at where Maxi is. Look at how far he gets caught, though, and that is brutal to see with Benny F15 delivering the death blow. It's 11 rounds to 5, and, well, Flamey's squad look like they are keeping up that momentum from the first game here into the final, and they are just delivering.
Even avoiding the pick from Silva, Brab, he was stuck between two people that could easily kill him. They had guns, he had knives, but there's nothing else he could really do there. This is their gun run though.
You want to play?
It's
Let's
their chance
play.
to turn the tables. See that. The ultimate coming on through. Flamey is waiting here. They don't know he's here. They did not check for him. They didn't look, but it did not matter. He just whiffed everything. And the two duelists, in inverted commas, do go down here. Got to Odok.
Unfortunate play.
Spike
His
planted.
patience took him too far.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out for him this time, but with Warwick as well, starting to fire on all cylinders, they do take him down. Brab does die, but it's only a one-player one. They can make that work. The vulnerable, the Viper's Bite forces them out into the open here. As you hear those shots coming through them, that teleport was not good for them. It's step up. Where was the frag, so they know the Warwick is somewhere.
One enemy remaining.
One versus one. Jumps up on high. He's checked down to his right. BenCL has wrapped around. They're expecting something. Jumps up onto that box. The spray comes on through. He's so low, but he's not dead yet. Doesn't quite get caught. Uses the flash. Doesn't have a lot of time. Needs to stick it. Needs to tap it at the very least here. Tries to go for a fake mount. Warwick does not find the frag. Does not find the round. And BenCL just barely keeps their team in it for now. But importantly, right? Something you want to keep in mind is that econ, isn't it?
It is indeed, and honestly, their econ, it's a bit spread out. It's a bit odd, and I think, going back to a point, is 7 and 13 BenCL, but his nades, his util, his shutdowns, they've been important,
Yeah.
and they've been shutting down a lot of things that Flames team's trying to do.
I think that's the big difference here is we're seeing Maxi's squad. All of them are really understanding what's happening here. Unfortunately, sometimes you just be losing those duels, and, well, when they're shooting the first punch, sometimes it's just beaten to it. Good frag. Takes down that player initially. Maxi isn't able to be in dynamic as they want, and BenCL is able to do no such thing as the power that we talked about before. Those shots, they ring true. Oh, not falls, yes. But look at everything else coming through. Benny F15 is fallen. But the rest of their team is perfectly happy to step up, take them down, and move themselves to match point
Match
here.
point.
Benny with 3, really showing them that they can't push lightheartedly. They have to give it all, and they will lose the doors if they try going against him.
They will indeed.
Match
Now
point
match
and an
point.
awkward buy
And yeah,
from Max's team.
The problem is they tried to go all in on that last round, right? After they finally won something, put something on the board, trying to run away with their eco, but unfortunately, that runaway train barely even left the station.
Take flight.
They do have 2 alternates to play with, but whether they can get into a position where it will work.
Right here.
The shot from that. They're losing so much on those exchanges. It's the weapon diff here right now. Again, that aim diff that's just been so darn important.
Sheriff, Marshall. Oh, no, they picked up a Vandal, but Sheriff, Vandal, Phantom. They're still at disadvantage numbers-wise and gun-wise.
Indeed. Step up right now. Yeah, he's got that rifle, but how's he going to be able to find opportunities for their squad? They've got access to an initiator. They've got access to that KO, but Brab... Okay, Brab is on the outside. I misread the map.
They do have 2 very important ults still ready.
Watching here.
Position known. Oh, that Hunter's
And
Fury is
inning.
so big. Doesn't quite clip any of them, but does finish off NCL as he tries to open up, tries to find an opportunity, but then there was one. Then there was Step Up. Finds one frag. Can he get the second? No, not barely. And Benny F15 puts the nail in that coffin. 13-6 as Team Flamey take down Team Maxi, and they do in fact win the TGH Upper Weekly Skirmish of this week. Taking it here. What an impressive performance, right?
I think, especially that last round, Brab, I wasn't too sure what he was doing out there, but his play with his Hunter's Fury, it was incredible, and it did get them that round.
It did indeed. Shout out to Maxi with 8 first bloods, but not enough to put their team on the board, unfortunately, there. But yeah, Flamey is, it really was delivering a lot for their team there in terms of first bloods, in terms of frags, but also did look like a little bit of weakness at times, but finally cleaned up his act and allowed their team to graciously take them the win. An impressive performance, and I thought we'd get a little bit closer because of how things started, but once the engine started going, there was no way you could stop them.
Wasn't as bad as the last wipeout, but it was still, I'd say, a wipeout. 13-6.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when they're on total wipeout, right? Before, they messed up before they even got past the first obstacle. Here, they got to the big red balls, and then they went flying. It just didn't happen here on Icebox for Maxi and the squad today. Unfortunate as it is, they still played admirably. We'd love to see them again. Don't forget, you guys can sign up as well. You might not necessarily be in Uppers. Uppers, I believe, is Plat Plus.
It is now
there's lots.
Diamond. Plus,
Oh, it's
actually.
Diamond Plus. My bad. I got the ranks wrong. I wouldn't be able to play. That's why I talk. Instead. But if you guys are interested as well, there is also lowers, so you can get involved in that one. It's great. Goose House community is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure you can find the Discord somewhere below the stream, or ask people in chat for that one as well, as they'll be very, very happy and very helpful with that one as well. I have been Rook. Joining me has been Zen, who's been absolutely fantastic. On the observing has been Lou, who's been stellar as usual, and Tex has been our observer. I hope you all have a wonderful evening and good night.
Chase the wind and touch the sky. A star's light shines on long after it dies. Oh, in the night, I live every day as if it's your last. Our memories been bright like beacons of the past. Oh, in the night, now we race against the sun. Now we race against the sun. Ooh. the sun. Now we race against the sun. Now we race against the sun. Ooh. I remember when the bartender said it's on the house. You make me wanna fall in love. The weather felt better when we were in it together. Oh, I miss the way we used to talk about nothing.